Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today we're going to be making two new cargo wagons for our extra long cargo train. The first is a new one, using all of these wonderful bits of purple pipe, and the second one's going to be Gareth's dynamite wagon from Brickhall 114. Awesome! Well, in many respects, this first wagon is quite a simple one, and it's just going to be transporting a load of this corrugated pipe. Technically, it's called ribbed 7mm hose, and these ones are 12 long. And I just picked them because of the wonderful purple colour, really, giving a really nice contrast to other carriages on my train. So the basic build is just a 12 long plate with the buffers on the end and the wheels right at each end, so it's quite a short one, kind of like that. Then a 2x2 plate just to bridge into the middle, and then I always try and vary the build sort of style that I do for the stuff in the middle, the stuff I always call the gubbins, because I don't know what it does. I imagine it's got brakes and I don't know, all sorts of things in it, but I don't know anything about that. So I'm just going to build up a different sort of lump in the middle with some 2x2 plates and a jumper plate, just so we've got one blob on the end. Then a couple of slopes, 2x2s, and it's just an interesting sort of profile to have kind of hanging in between those wheels. So I'm going to use some bracket pieces just to mount that on like that, all in black, so it's really hard for me to show you. But anyway, that will go on like that, and I think that's just a slightly different profile if I can get the light right. There we are, and looks pretty interesting. So yeah, so far so ordinary, but there's the other one for the other side. Now for this, I wanted a very flat bed because I wanted all of these things to not be sort of over studs on the top of this. So that's why I got in my last brick haul, it was kind of the mini one as part of the last video, this 6x6 black tile, because that's going to sit right in the middle, holding all these bits together, giving it a lot of strength, and not have a bumpy surface for these sort of cables to sit on. And then to continue that flat surface, I've got one of these 4x6 plates, which has got the sort of middle bit completely devoid of studs. And I'm just going to add a 1x2 onto each end, so it kind of matches up with the buffers at the end there, like that. And then we've got this flat surface continuing, so I can do that on the other end as well, the 1x2s. And there we go, a very flat surface to put all of our lovely cables, or rather pipes, on. I mean, I always think these are going to be kind of buried under the streets of Brick Nottingham, probably with telecommunication cables inside. I mean, they do use these sort of bright colours, so they're easy to spot when somebody's sort of digging in the same area later. But I'm not going to be able to just have these like this, because every time it goes around the corner, of course, all these things are going to roll off. So I'm really going to have to add something to pin them in place. So at the ends, I'm going to add the usual sort of end that I have on most of my cargo wagons, these sort of railings. And I'm going to have some yellow ladders as well to give it a bit more interest and allow men to get up and down. So I'm just going to have those as well. And then I thought, well, what I really need is kind of like a kind of cable tie on each end, holding all these things in. And if I had enough of them, then I could really sort of wedge them in and they wouldn't be able to escape. So they are going to just be held in by the fact that they're crammed in. And what I thought I would use is this curved arch piece, which I thought was a really nice shape. So that's arch 1x6x2 with a curved top. That's part 6183. And I got them in this sand blue colour just because, well, I don't have anything sand blue on my train. So I kind of figured if I just made it a little bit taller with some 1x1s, I could have that as kind of a cable tie at one end, and this another one as a cable tie kind of at the other end, and then I could basically feed all of these through. Now I think it's going to be quite tricky to sort of get them all in to start with, especially with a couple of them being sort of bent out of shape due to their previous use, because, well, I got them all second hand. So I'll probably need to pull off one of these things and kind of feed them all through and then kind of squeeze them all in. So to do that, I think I am going to pause the camera because I think it's going to be a bit of a messy job. Right, well, I really do need to cram all 13 of these in, because otherwise they're just going to be too loose still. And the 13th one's really having to sort of squeeze into position. But then at least it does hold absolutely everything really firmly. So that's looking pretty good. Try and level them up a bit on each end. I think I've got them too much that way now. There we go. Now I should be able to put this back on. And I suppose the real test is whether any of these come loose if I give it a good shake. No, and that seems to be all right. So I think then that, even though they are relatively loosely held, is my cable, or, well, what do you call it? Pipe wagon? I don't know what really to call that. You'll have to let me know. Oh, and there's the pressure kind of pushing them back up. I should be able to push them down. And I think that's a really nice, simple wagon. I mean, it's got some really interesting texture in the middle and some interesting colours throughout. And you know immediately what it is and what it's for. And the middle bit's really interesting as well. So, yeah, I really like that. A nice splash of colour in the middle of my cargo train. And this flat bit really does work well at keeping them all nice and tightly held. Brilliant. So that's worked rather well. Right, let's get on to Gareth's dynamite wagon, and then we can add them both to the train. Whoop, whoop. Now the next wagon is this dynamite transporter sent in by Gareth as part of Brick Hall 114. And it is crammed full of sticks of dynamite and is absolutely amazing with its caution signs on the outside there on the bottom. And this was even sent in a great big box with caution signs written all over it, so we didn't have an explosive accident. And Gareth's train has 17 of these going around, one after the other. But I did want to make sure that in my very varied train that this still stood out sufficiently that we knew it was a dynamite transporter. So I hope Gareth doesn't mind if I make a few changes to it just to make it stand out just that little bit more in Brick Nottingham. So one thing I've already done is add these danger stickers, which kind of blend in a bit, to be fair, with the dark orange. They aren't the best choice I've ever made, but they do look quite good with the arrows up to the lid that you can take off. And I got those from the Garmadon's Volcano Lair sticker sheet from 70631. So that is good. I've used loads of those now. A few of them been used on my GBC factory already. But what I wanted to do to the outside was first of all cover some of the end Technic pinholes. Now I've put half pins in all of the ones you can see, being careful to just use grey ones on the ones that are going to be visible on the inside, blue at the bottom because I tend to have more of those, and that's just so I can add some kind of hazard lights partially on those two, so they could be kind of flashing, because I imagine when this is going by they're sort of going warning, warning, and to make the warning even more obvious I thought I'd add, yes, one of my two favourite 1x4 tiles ever. No, they're not tread plates, they're the hazard warning signs, so I really like those, hazard stripes rather. So I'm going to do the same on both ends, and that's just to make it even more obvious that this is transporting something quite hazardous. So I don't know if Gareth is going to be inspired to do something similar. If he does for his 17 wagons, he's going to need a lot of those. Anyway, there we go. So I think that's looking a little bit brighter. I think you'll agree. But you know me with 3D signs, I really wanted to go even further with this. So I thought I could use the fact that we've got some more Technic pinholes in the top of this roof section to add some of these circular tiles with the hole in, and that makes the depth of that plus that basically a brick depth. So I can put in a half pin like that, and that would be a really good mount for, well, what better thing could we have on a dynamite transport wagon for a 3D sign than a stick of dynamite? So this is just some round bricks 2x2 with an end one with a hole in, and I've got a bar piece there in black to kind of be the wick, and you can see that two of those round 2x2 bricks are the ones with the holes in, and the spacing is exactly right, so they'll fit with the pins that are coming out the top, and I've just curved off the back end as well. So there we go. Now it kind of has the same 3D sign as that Dynamite factory that never actually got released by Lego, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know why they wouldn't want to do that. It's only Dynamite. It's not anything offensive in my mind. But anyway, that I think looks even better. Now I did get some suggestions to add something really unsafety conscious to this, like having a welder doing a bit of work actually on this wagon as it went around. And I did quite like that idea, but I didn't want to change it too much to make some more space on either end to add a minifigure, because I didn't want to sort of ruin Gareth's original design. So I decided instead to basically have the 3D sign as if this stick of dynamite was lit. So I thought I'd get rid of the normal bar piece and just add one of these grabber ones, which doesn't look as good to start with perhaps, but then I can kind of just add one of these flame pieces as part of a 3D sign. So it's not literally dynamite and it's not literally a light either, but I thought that was quite funny. So tell me what you think of that. I mean, it's very unrealistic to real life, but you know, we're not going for that after all. And it would have to have somebody with a quite special sense of humour like mine, really, to have a lit piece of dynamite as a 3D sign on a dynamite transporter. But, you know, it still opens up, still looks good, and I think that makes it look even better. So thanks very much again, Gareth, for sending in that and inspiring a cargo wagon on my train. But I think the next obvious thing is for us to add both of these to the big boy. Oh yeah! Well, before we get to the train, there is the mosaic we did last time on the wall, or rather the door of the Lego room. And I think it looks really good there, actually. I was actually going to put it on this wall to the left, but I think Mrs. Hood was right when she suggested that I put it on the door, because you'll be able to see it sort of from further back and it'll look a lot better. Yeah, so I like that. Hopefully those strips that I used to stick it to walls also work well on a wooden door. If they don't, it's going to fall off fairly soon, but we'll give that a good go. Yeah, I like it. Tell me what you think of that there. I think it looks pretty good. Right, so that's that done. Another bit of admin before we get to our new carriages is our yellow unnamed locomotive number 4. And I think there were a few clear leaders from the suggestions that you gave in, which were Bumblebee, which I can't say I'm a massive fan of because it sounds a little bit twee for me, or the Hornet, which I did really like actually. So I'm going to add the Hornet as one option of 2 to a voting poll soon for naming of that locomotive, with the other suggestion being my idea. Now, my idea was to call it the Colonel, after Colonel Mustard in the game Cluedo, or Clue, if you're in the States, which is a kind of a detective board game where you're trying to find out who murdered Dr. Black. But essentially, I thought the Colonel sounded like a very good sort of powerful name for a great big yellow locomotive. So we'll have that vote very soon, and you can cast your vote and decide on that. But going a bit further down the train here, we have our 2 new wagons, and I thought the most sensible place to put the dynamite wagon was right next to the fuel container here with the Octan branding on. So if one went up, well, the other one was almost definitely going to make the situation a whole lot worse. But also the shapes work quite well together as well. And then while I was there, I thought I'd put the pipes right next to it, and that kind of works with it being next to the cement mixer one. So we've got kind of a construction type section of the train as well with all those yellow ladders. So yeah, they look really good. 2 more short ones, which takes us all the way to 28, would you believe, carriages of all sorts of different types, if you include the pump wagon at the end and the 4 locomotives. So I think now we've added all that extra power, we should have absolutely no problem getting this going. And there you go, pulls away with ease. And let's get this one going as well in the other direction. So we've got some good interest there. Right, let's have it all going through here. Lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The new 2. There we go. 11, 12. Then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28. All the way on the end there. Yep, looking good. So let's do the other check, which is to see when the nose is just on the bridge. Where's the tail? Oh, way back there. That didn't work. We'll have to try that one again, where maybe when the train stops, see how long it is, because we want to get it all the way kind of chasing itself. Oh no, we've got quite a long way to go yet, definitely. So yeah, that only means that sadly we're going to have to make a lot more cargo wagons over the next few weeks and months, which is a problem that I'm very happy to have. Yeah. And there's the new 2 again. And I'm glad we did that stick of dynamite. I think everyone would agree that it does now look very interesting going around, and it kind of even adds to that potentially explosive joke of being next to the fuel wagon. Very silly, which is exactly how we want it in Brick Nottingham. Lovely. Oh yes, I think they look really interesting and really bright and colourful as well. Very good things to add to our train, but not very long actually, if you think about it. We've added two very short wagons today, so it hasn't really helped our challenge a great deal in the long run. Maybe I should make all future ones just that little bit longer so we can achieve our goal that little bit sooner. Do remember to look out for the voting between the Hornet and my favourite, the Colonel, for the currently unnamed locomotive number 4. Please vote for the Colonel. I really like that name, but I'll definitely defer to you if you vote for the Hornet. So as always, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. And if you value this channel, there are many ways that you can support it. Do check out the links in the description below. And next time on Robin Hood Bricks, we'll be doing a brick haul because it'll be Wednesday, and I'll be getting some parts, hopefully, for some really interesting upcoming projects I'm very excited about. And one of the projects is to do this whole area where our Sheehan Zeppelin is kind of waiting at the moment and really tidy that whole messy area up, which will be a really good thing to do. So I'm looking forward to unpacking some of those. And then on Friday, I don't think we're going to have time for the fairground this Friday either, just because of real life getting in the way. But then the week after, I hope we will. But whatever we do get up to, I'm sure we'll have great fun. So until then, see you!